The 2026 FIFA World Cup will be the biggest World Cup in history. More teams, more matches, more stadiums, more fans. So here's a question almost nobody is asking. What if the biggest World Cup ever doesn't actually feel like a World Cup? That sounds impossible. But once you see why some fans are worried, you might never look at World Cup 2026 the same way again. Because for the first time in history, football is about to try something it's never done before. And nobody knows if it will work. When people remember a World Cup, they don't just remember the matches. They remember the feeling. The streets packed with fans. The chants. The celebrations. The moments when an entire country seems to stop and breathe football. Think about Brazil, Germany, South Africa, even Qatar. For 1 month, football was everywhere. You couldn't escape it. And that's what made those tournaments special. Now look at World Cup 2026. It won't be hosted by one country, or even two. It will be spread across the United States, Canada, and Mexico. 16 different host cities, thousands of kilometers apart. And here's the part most people haven't realized yet. Some fans could travel farther between matches than fans traveled during entire previous World Cups. Just think about that. The biggest tournament in football history could also become the most spread-out tournament in football history. And that creates a problem nobody can predict. World Cup atmosphere isn't created by stadiums. It's created by people. Fans meeting fans. Cities becoming football capitals. Millions of strangers sharing the same experience. But what happens when those fans are scattered across a huge part of North America? Instead of one giant football festival, you might end up with 16 separate football festivals. Instead of one heartbeat, 16 different heartbeats. And suddenly, the atmosphere that makes the World Cup feel magical could become harder to create. But the most surprising part is this. The best World Cup moments are usually unplanned. A random celebration in the street. Fans from rival nations singing together. A city square exploding after a last-minute goal. Those moments can't be organized. They happen naturally when football fans are constantly around each other. But in 2026, many supporters will be spending more time traveling than ever before. More flights, more hotels, more movement, and less time gathering in one place. That's something football has never tested on this scale. There's another strange fact. Most World Cups have a center. A city that becomes the heart of the tournament. A place every fan remembers. A place that feels like the capital of football. But in 2026, there may be no single center at all. No single football city. No single football heartbeat. For the first time ever, the World Cup could feel like it's happening everywhere and nowhere at the same time. Now, this doesn't mean World Cup 2026 will fail. In fact, it could become the greatest World Cup ever. More countries will participate. More fans will attend. Attendance records could be broken. The atmosphere could be incredible. But that's exactly why this tournament is so fascinating. Because nobody truly knows what will happen. Football has never attempted anything this big before. So here's the real question. Can football make the World Cup bigger without losing the feeling that made people fall in love with it in the first place? Because the magic of a World Cup isn't measured by the number of teams or the number of matches. It's measured by something much harder to count. The feeling. And in 2026, football is about to discover whether the biggest World Cup ever can still feel like one giant football family. Or whether bigger was never the same thing as better. Maybe World Cup 2026 will become the greatest football celebration ever created. Or maybe it will prove that bigger isn't always better. Either way, football is about to find out. What's your prediction? Will this be the greatest World Cup in history? Or the one that changed football forever? Let me know in the comments. And subscribe for more football stories you won't hear anywhere else.